And I decided that I don't have time for school. So in 12th grade, a month before graduation, I quit school. I told you, I had bright ideas. Now, I was also a liar, and I always lied to my mom. Always. You know, some of y'all remember when the bus fare was only 10 cents? That was way back when. And she would give me that 20 cents to go to the employment agency to go look for a job. And every day she come home. My mother did domestic work. We grew up poor. Right? She did domestic work. She cleaned other people's homes to support her 5 children. Right? And every time she came home, I lied. And one day she came home and she said, "Did you find a job today?" And I said, "Oh, they told me to come back Monday." Now, it's already just Tuesday. Right? So I tell her next Monday, so I figure I got a whole week not to do nothing except get drunk out there with the fellas. She said, "Well, give me the key." Key for what? The key to the front door. Now, we were just talking about this over there at the coffee pot. You know, you find out who your friends are, right? I said, I got plenty of friends I can stay with. I don't have to stay here. You know, I'm 17, 18 years old. So I go to one friend's house, and the second night I spend the night, he said, "Man, my mother was giving me some grief. Can't stay." And I go to my other buddy's house, right? I'm there like 4 days. And that Saturday night, no, that Friday night, they lived on the second floor apartment. His bedroom was in the back there, the living room, and the kitchen, and the bedroom was back there. And his mother called him into the room. She said, "Jay, come in here in the kitchen." And she spoke real loud. Now, I'm in the bedroom back there, from here to back there to that door. And she said, "If that boy don't leave here tonight, I'm putting you out." Now, I heard that. Now, you know what I said. You know what I said, right?
Come
No,
with
y'all don't know what I said.
me. He gonna come with me.
My man got it.
Yeah.
He coming with me. And we continued to drink. About 1 o'clock, he said, "Mike, you gotta go." I'm like, "What?" He said, "You gotta go." Now, I'm toe down drunk, and I went down the flight of stairs, and I went to the front door. They had the last 4 steps, and I went down, and I fell. Now, I'm gonna tell you, I honestly tried to pick myself up. Now, I didn't have nowhere to go, but I knew my mother's house was up the block. So I began to crawl like a little baby. And there was a big old oak tree, because I couldn't crawl no more. And I leaned up against that oak tree that Friday night about 1:30 in the morning. And I came to Saturday morning about 7 o'clock. And the only thing that I could think of was getting another drink. That's alcoholism that I knew nothing about. You know, my drinking continually got worse, and I had another bright idea. So yeah, I was full of bright idea. I know what a man is. I'm 19 years old now, you know, and I'm still ripping around. I know what a man is. A man has a wife. Now, I had a little sister at one time. She died about 4 years ago. Now, she had a lot of friends. So I hijacked one of them, and we got married. Now, I knew nothing about love, right? Now, the only thing good came out of that marriage was my 4 beautiful little kids, right? And I want to tell you now, selfishness and self-centeredness, it was all about me. I worked, it was my money, and I'm going to pay the bills. But what would happen was I would give her the money as a good husband, and we'll fight the next day to get my money back, right? Now, there's a lot of things that I ain't proud of, but one of them, what I like to tell people was, I used to buy chicken backs and lima beans so that my kids can eat that for weeks on end. Chicken backs was like 19 cents a pound. And that's what I fed my kids so that I could have more money for me for my wine. I didn't believe in that. I paid the rent for about 2 months, and then I would stop, especially in the wintertime. Now, I didn't need no phone. If you wanted me, come knock on my door. All right, so I didn't need no phone. I wasn't home during the day, or if I was drunk, so I really didn't need no electricity. If it was cold outside, the milk and eggs would sit out on the windowsill. That was my idea of a home. And when they came and put that dispossessed on the door, I was a night crawler. Get a bunch of my friends and we rent a truck and we moved somewhere else. You know, so when he came back the next day, his apartment was his. You know, I was 3, 4, 5 months in the red. You know, but I didn't care. That didn't bother me. Now what had happened was 11 years of marriage, I wound up going to prison. I'm in and out of jail all the time. All this disorderly conduct, abuse, all kinds of stuff, you know. And this time I wound up going to prison for, I was looking at 7.5 to 15 years in prison, right? And after going back and forth to court, there was a judge, and I'm looking to finally get sentenced, either the 7.5 or the 15, right? Now I'm tired of going back and forth to court because every time you go back and forth, you got to strip, you got to go through, you know. So if y'all been there, y'all know what the routine is. And I'm like, my mind is saying, look, this next week is the last. Now let me just do my time and get on with it. But the judge sat up there, he was looking through my little portfolio. Y'all don't have a big book here, because that's how big my portfolio was. Right? And he would turn the pages and he would shake his head, and he'd turn a couple of more pages and look at me and he'd shake his head. I'm like, why don't this judge just give me just say you got the time and let me go back. He shut the book, and I was astounded because see, I took up auto mechanics when I was going to school. Now I know AAA. So when that judge said, I'm going to send you to AA, myself in my mind, I said, that judge missing an A. Because I know AAA, I never heard of no 2 A's. Right? But I said, whatever it is, he said, I'm going to give you 5 years probation and 6 months in this thing called AA. And I said, damn, I could have kissed him. His mustache was so big. Because that was my release date out of jail, out of prison, right? Now, I thought that I had a home to come to. The home was empty. The wife was gone. The kids were gone. And you know what I thought? The selfishness and self-centeredness. All the money I make now is only for me. I didn't bother looking for them. I didn't dial no phone numbers. I didn't go looking nowhere, knocking on doors. So what had happened was I figured I'd relocate. I don't want to see my parole officer. So I moved from Queens to Brooklyn. That's like leaving from here and moving down to Glen Burnie. I said, this woman can't find me. So I shacked up with this other female down here in Brooklyn, and I was there for about 3 weeks, and her little daughter went downstairs and opened up the door one Saturday morning and came back upstairs and said, Mr. Mike, somebody at the door for you. I said, nobody don't know I live here. I'm like, well, maybe it's somebody that want to get down on Pine Vine. And I went down there to that door and it was her. And she told me, she said that if you don't come to my office back in Queens Supreme Courthouse Monday morning, I'm going to see to it that you do every bit of the 15. Now, I may be crazy drunk, but I ain't stupid. Okay? You know where I was at that Monday morning? You know, I was at her office. You know, by hook or by crook, I snuck on the train to get there. You know, my change that was in my pocket was from my pint. You know what I mean? So I wasn't spending no money. I was jumping the rails. Right? She told me that you better start going to that program. And I came here, and I was sitting in the back of the room, and they said, don't compare your way out. Identify your way in. And I grew up in a household back in the day that what happens in the house stays in the house. So I always said, y'all people up here lying, because ain't nobody gonna tell their story what happened. Because I know I ain't telling nobody what went on in my house, or what I do. You know, but I'm glad that I stayed here long enough to get the message. The message to me was being honest with myself. Because I wasn't honest with myself. So how could I ever be honest with any of you? You know, when I was out there drinking. Right? I wound up going to a detox for umpteen time. I went to six-month halfway house, right? And that's where my sobriety took off, right? I got sober there. I used to tell people it was an apartment, but it was a room. I got a room. And I was scared because I lived in this halfway house, this safe environment for 7 months. And now I'm by myself. You know, but I thank God for sponsorship. I thank God for sponsorship because that man, I would call him at 2 o'clock in the morning and he would come pick my little black ass up. Yeah. And we would go ride and we'd go out to Path Market and we'd shop. Everything. I was on welfare. That welfare taught me well from that day to this. Okay? Take care of your needs and not your wants. That's what welfare taught me. You know. But my sobriety took off and I did all the suggestions that were given to me. And what had happened was that phenomenal change had occurred. You know, the book says, change you must or die you will. You know, I had to smash the idea that I could drink alcohol successfully. You know, any mood-altering substances. Any. You name one, get rid of it. That's what this program is all about. Narcotics Anonymous is the offspring, if y'all don't know that. Okay. AA was founded back in 1924 by 2 of us and countless others. All right? But that's where my sobriety took off. And I didn't find it necessary to pick up a drink and join. I never did get that wife back, or that house, or that car, truck that I had, or that job. None of that came back. But what had happened, what had transpired was I got me back. I was glad to see the man in the mirror. Before, I didn't want to see that guy in the mirror. I didn't know who he was or what he was. But today I can honestly look in the mirror and like what I see. And it's not by looks. It's how I carry myself today. It's what you all taught me. If I treat you with kindness and fairness, I would get that and receive that back. If I was treating you the way I was treating people when I was out there getting drunk, we wouldn't be here. Y'all wouldn't be listening to me. There'd be a whole lot of mess in here going on. Okay? But I thank God that it's not like that today. Now, I moved from Queens and I moved out here in 1997. I found a home group. My first home group when I moved here was the Mustard Seed. Right? And I was there. And I wound up with another home group. And another home group. Right? And it's because I have to move where I feel I need growth in. See, this thing doesn't stop. See, this is a process. And it's a journey. And if I don't get any information to keep me sober today, I can get swamped with this up here. See, because it ain't my drinking, it's my thinking. Now, if I go upstairs, you know, them 2 guys are dead, boy, I'll tell you. She knows what I'm talking about. That couple guys are there. When they start going like this, I'm in trouble. You know, like she just told y'all, get on the phone and dial somebody. Get that network going. Call somebody. I did it this morning. I'm going to tell you this right quick. I went to a restaurant. I think I would treat myself. I went there specifically for one thing. And I get there, they don't have it. I got a resentment. Yeah. How dare they? I traveled almost 20 miles to get here. And y'all ain't got to have what I want. I call them sponsor. That's what they told me to do. I better use my tools. He put me back in my place. Just to listen to somebody else's rationality. Because this program is just full of suggestions. You know, but this program, it works if you work it. You know, I love Alcoholics Anonymous. I love the God of my understanding. And I can tell you all, if nobody else told you that they love you today, let me be the first. Because I can love you all unconditionally. And a damn thing you do about it. Now, I like that. And if y'all don't like anything that I said, blame Lisa, because she told me. And I'm going to leave it at that because I need to get my help from all of you. So thank you for allowing me to share.
We sure.